Exactly. So, also on the discussion that we had, that you were skeptical about disclosing that you're a diabetic to your coworkers or your company, for that matter. So, I mean, why do you think that? Many people think that it's good to be, known to everyone, and it's also good to disclose that.
Well, I was laid off from a job that I had been with for 5 years. And during that 5 years, I became diabetic. It was important to tell my job at this time that I was diabetic because I was having a lot of emotional issues with my diabetes, and I was very uncontrolled with my diabetes at that time. So they needed to know. Since then, I was laid off. I'm hired with a new company under temporary status. Doing the same work, though. I kind of feel that it's kind of the old gay or homosexual. They might not hire me because I'm homosexual. I'm scared they might not hire me permanently because I'm diabetic. There's no way that I can prove to the company, prove that this company has discriminated against me because I'm diabetic. No one's going to come out and say that. But diabetics cost a lot of money. So they may not hire me because of that. And this time around, I just don't want to be the novelty of the group there. Oh, you're diabetic. You can't have this. Oh, you're diabetic. You can't have that. And the people that I work with, they're nice folks, but I don't think they can handle that situation and keep it in perspective. So that's why I'm just choosing not to tell them and hoping that I do get hired permanently, have insurance, which is the most important thing.
Exactly.
And later on expose that.
Okay. So you're telling me that you're on a contractor basis with the companies, and they don't provide you the the insurance, full insurance. So how are you managing this? Because diabetes has a lot of you need to buy a lot of insulin or test strips or whatever. So how are you bearing all these costs? And do you think what's your take on that?
Right now, I'm on Cobra from my last company. I do pay the full, complete cost of Cobra with, when I'm paying with my paychecks right now. It is an absorbent amount. That's basically how I'm covering myself with my insulin and supplies. I'm living in Los Angeles, so there are some health benefits here and there that you can get things, but I mean, they're only for a short time or temporary, so.
So, do you think that the new Medicare plan or medical plan that the government is proposing will help you in this?
What, Obamacare?
Yeah.
I've read about Obamacare, exactly how it's supposed to help people with chronic illnesses, and from my perspective, it's not something that's going to be terribly, terribly helpful. Plus, it doesn't start till 2014, if I'm correct. So, hopefully, I'll have a permanent job with insurance by 2014. But right now, I'm just working with my Cobra till next February.
Oh, okay. So, coming to the next question, what are some of the good things that happened to you since you were diabetic?
Some of the good things that have happened to me is that I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about how much I can endure, how to make lemons out of lemonade, per se. I mean, I never saw anything really bad about my diabetes, but I certainly felt the effects of being diabetic. I get winded a little bit more. I've had hypoglycemia. I've had hyperglycemia and felt the effects of both of those. And it's not wonderful either. I basically have learned how to cope with it, work with it, and be positive about it. I started my website to help other people to be positive about it. I've mentored a lot of folks, which I really like doing, especially folks that, not necessarily they're newly diagnosed, but I've met people that have been diabetic for an extremely long amount of time and really don't have that much knowledge about diabetes. So it's been very helpful that way. I learned a lot about nutrition, foods, about how your body works. These things that no one never taught you.
Exactly. And also, I see that on your website you raise a lot of funds for different diabetic organizations. So anyway, thanks, and you're doing a very good job on that. So how do you feel that? What's your diabetic advocacy in this?
I feel diabetic advocacy is very important. I think it's important to have resources. I think it's important to have support with this. I think education is very important with this, especially in your minority communities. It's no secret, I'm African American. I live in Los Angeles. There's an extremely large Latino populations, and these populations are extremely underserved when it comes to almost any type of medical issue that comes around. I know people that have had to change their where they receive their medical care because in their neighborhood is just not funded properly. They've had to go to other neighborhoods to receive proper care. I'm one of those people that had to move to another neighborhood to receive proper care. I mean, I live in the Valley. I get my care down at UCLA. So basically, I have to travel about, 45 minutes to an hour to go to UCLA to go see my doctor, who, Dr. Bendra. I like her. I love her. But nutrition is not a subject matter within a lot of minority communities. How to take care of yourself properly is not a subject matter that's discussed a lot in minority communities too. So with my website, I hope to help give awareness to these communities so they themselves can do some prevention.
Exactly.
And not even get diabetes versus worrying about a cure when you have it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll help a lot. And you're doing something like teach them how to fish rather than giving them a fish.
Right. Right.
Exactly. So, since you're a chemist, this is an interesting question. You know how to read a food labels, and you know what's the difference between a table sugar, fructose, sucrose, and all this stuff, right? So, many food companies are trying to market sugar-free or carb-free or whatever their marketing techniques are. Right now, as you said, we all are eating high amount of fructose, sucrose, and all this stuff. So what's your opinion on that?
Well, one, again, it comes with education and reading food labels. Because I will say that even before I was diabetic, I couldn't read a food label. I was like, okay, yeah, there it is. But now that I am diabetic, I kind of know what's happening with the food labels there. Nutrition labels, or nutrition facts as they call it. Sugar-free basically only means no granulated sugar in it, but something is in there that's making it sweet. It could be a sugar alcohol, it could be fructose. It could definitely be something else in there that's making it sweet. So, because I remember when I first was diagnosed, one of my coworkers told me, eat sugar-free items and you'll be fine. Yeah, it could be sugar-free. Yeah, exactly. But it has 1,000 carbs in it, okay? So, so these things, it just goes back to education again, because marketers will come up with something really inventive to make it sound benign, and it can be just as malignant as anything, such as you said, the high fructose corn syrup. Now they're having a marketing campaign of calling it corn sugar. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing, just a different name.
Different name. Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. So it just depends on the marketing. They can market the same thing, give it 17 different names, and unless you stay current on it, you'll never know, but you're still putting the same poison inside of you. So again, it's just education and being aware.
Exactly. Since now you're on insulin, sometimes you go highs and lows. So how do you manage that?
Basically, I have to look at most type 1s. I know when they're on insulin, they do basal and bolus. My endocrinologist hasn't shown me basal and bolus yet, but I've gone on and I've researched it myself. But basically, how I do it is I look at what I ate before, and then I just kind of judge it to how much should I inject the next time I do it. This is where I have to watch out when I'm at work, because my desk is in one area and then I have to walk over to another area, and I may keep a sugar pill with me just in case I go low. Again, this is done very discreetly because I'm trying to hide my diabetes at my job. So it's a juggling. It's a juggling acrobatic act per se, trying to do it. But I've been pretty decent at doing it.
Okay, so this is a question I ask everyone. What are some of the things that you learned hard way?
Some of the things I've learned the hard way? Wow. I learned that when you're talking to people about, especially about adjusting their food diet, they don't want to. Unless something has actually happened to them, they really don't want to. I got into a argument with this woman that got so belligerent at the thought of changing one or two things out of her food diet. It was just, ridiculous. So you have to watch how you talk to people when it comes to food diets or the thought of changing their food diet. A lot of people see diabetes as, oh, it's in my family, I'll get it, you got to die of something. Or my Uncle Leroy ate like a hog and ate this, smoked, drank, and he lived to 100. But there's reasons why he probably lived to 100, and those type of folks are 1 in a million. How do you know you're going to be the next person that's going to be able to do that?
Exactly. So the final thoughts to the diabetic community, your message to the diabetic community.
Love yourself. Love yourself completely, especially if you're a type 2. Love yourself. You're going through changes. As you see, I started wearing glasses when I was 19. That was frightening to me. I thought I was the ugliest person in the world. And now you see I have Sexy-Diabetic on my chest right now. Don't hate yourself. Love yourself. You're going through some changes. Make lemons out of lemonade and just keep on moving. You're a sexy person. Keep on moving.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being on Diabetic 365 and sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you so much. It means a lot to the diabetic community. Have a nice day.
You too.